Nintendo strived to make two worlds meet in Skyward Sword. The playful, bright feelings of Wind Waker and the dark, more mature atmosphere of Twilight Princess were to become one in Skyward Sword. And now, after 5 years of waiting, it's finally arrived. It's not every day a new Zelda comes out. Sure, there are ports and handheld games that come out every year or so, but the big console games are what we look forward to. So does Skyward Sword live up to the high expectations? Let's find out. The story is more advanced than any Zelda game to date. It also is a prequel to Ocarina of Time, so I say it's the new first game in the timeline. Oh, don't get me started on any timeline stuff. We're here for the review. Okay, so basically in the prologue, you learn of an evil who came from, crack? Apparently he started to ravage the world. The goddess put a civilization of humans in an area and raised it into the sky, high above the clouds. Now we're in present day. This civilization is Skyloft, and you play the lazy hero, Link, who lives on Skyloft with his best friend since childhood, Zelda. Not Princess Zelda, just Zelda. You're training to become a knight, and today is the big day you get to race your bird to get closer to knighthood. Oh yeah, I forgot. To travel around Skyloft, people use giant birds called Loftwings. Lynx is a rare breed called a Crimson Loftwing. After a jerk named Groose hides your Loftwing, wow, I'm saying Loftwing a lot, you make it back and win the race. Zelda plays the role of the goddess in this ceremony for Link, and you get the sailcloth. After a celebration, you go to fly with Zelda. Just as she's about to tell you something important, a black tornado hits, and Zelda is thrown into the world below the clouds, and you wake up back on Skyloft after having another nightmare. You follow a mysterious girl to the inside of the big goddess statue on Skyloft, and you pull the goddess sword from its pedestal. You learn you and Zelda are part of a big prophecy, and it's your job to get to the Forsaken Surface world and find Zelda. And this is where the green tunic comes in. It's the knight's uniform, and this year the color is green. That's a lot, but it's as far as I'll go into the story. It's very in-depth this time, has lots of great plot twists, and a whole lot of epic scenes. The graphics here are a mix between the cel-shaded cartoon of Wind Waker and the more adult Link of Twilight Princess. The product is a beautiful game that is vibrant and looks amazing. Everything looks great, and to fix the Wii's low hard drive, the horizon is blurred, which looks cool in my opinion. The music is also probably my favorite from the entire series. This is the first Zelda game to be fully orchestrated, and I never want to go back. Every tune just fits the situation so nicely that it's kinda scary. The controls are also something debated upon. Nintendo went with full one-to-one sword control with the Wii Motion Plus technology, and it's implemented almost perfectly. Everything uses it. Swinging your remote swings your sword. Tilting moves your Loftwing and you while flying or swimming, plus some other items. The aiming is also a bit more precise on items, and you can now roll or throw things like bombs with just a flick. Choosing an item is as easy as holding B, dragging the cursor over the item you want, and letting go. Everything mostly works responsively. There was one problem though. I don't know if my controllers are broken or something, or I'm just terrible, but at times my sword aim would be wildly off from where I wanted to slice, and it would take several tries to hit the right target. But again, it could just be me, and everything else still works flawlessly. The basic premise of the game is still the same as the rest of the series, though this time, it is a bit more varied, which I liked. You'll start in Skyloft, fly to your next location, drop in and explore, solve lots of puzzles and do lots of battles, get into the dungeon, solve lots of puzzles, again, find the item, explore some more, defeat the boss, see some of the story unfold, and fly back to Skyloft for some side quests, relaxing, and then you repeat. However, it's much more in-depth than that. There's lots of different experiences in each area, such as finding the lost Kikwees of Faron Woods, getting through the fiery Elden Volcano, and switching areas of Lanayru Desert from past to present. The areas are also more of a blending into the dungeon. Puzzles are scattered around your path, so basically getting into the dungeon is already half of the dungeon. The dungeons, wow, I'm still saying dungeons a lot, are also laid out very nicely. The puzzles inside and out were extremely satisfying and pretty hard, which was a nice surprise. Along your adventure, you'll have the artificial intelligence of Fi. She was created by the goddess to assist the chosen hero and resides in the goddess sword. Though not as charming as Midna from Twilight Princess, she's very funny, very helpful, and can give lots of obvious explanations to you for those too dumb to figure things out. Then there's the combat. Since every enemy can see where your sword will attack from, they'll try to block. Think of killing enemies as their own puzzles. Each has a weak spot you need to exploit, like the bosses, who are very awesome, if I do say so myself, and I do. And waggling will just get you nowhere anymore, except to your death. The save spots are in the form of bird statues, which are scattered enough to make you need to get a little farther in game to find them, but also close together so they aren't too hard to find when you need to leave quickly. On the surface, they can also transport you back to Skyloft. RPG elements have made their way into the game as well. Along your adventures, you'll find items to collect, which can be used to upgrade items like shields, which can break now, bomb bags, and more. A new feature is also the stamina bar. With stamina, you can do things faster, like sprinting, running up walls to grab up higher, and leaping up ladders instead of climbing. However, this consumes stamina. It'll refill very shortly after not using the bar, but if you run out of stamina, you'll become sluggish and open to attack until the bar refills. It's a very nice touch that involves strategy. The game will take about 40 hours, and that's just the story. There's also side quests to add about 20 hours, and a second harder quest after you finish. So basically, you won't get bored with the game. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword is an extremely amazing game. Great and interesting story, awesome graphics and beautiful music, spot-on controls, lots of great new features, and a very, very long adventure. And overall, a completely well-made game. The only complaint I have is that Fi can be a pain at times, due to how obvious she is with things. I get that she's trying to explain things a bit better, but smart people like me get things, and her repeating things over and over is just annoying me, and probably a lot of other people. But after that one minor gripe, this game is a masterpiece. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword gets a 5 out of 5, the title of Perfect, the Dragoon Review Seal of Approval, and the way to play of a definite buy. The Wii finally has its swan song, as this is probably the last big Wii title. But this game is just amazing, and if you own a Wii, there's no excuse to not have this game.